Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Encourage Ice Strikers Draft Glory franchise mode here in NHL 23. So in last episode, we kind of had a win and a loss, I should say, as the fact basically our loss was our offense was just not scoring a whole lot. Like, our top guys were only picking up 50 points, which is not great with the new head coach that we decided to promote. But our team did pick up 21 wins on the season, which is our best season yet. So we're hopefully able to continue growing off of that. But it was a good season for this team in terms of wins. But the offense, like you can see, it dropped down to 2.16 goals for per game. But I believe before it was closer to 3 goals a game. I could be wrong with that, but I remember at least as early as last season, we had our top guns scoring like 80 points and stuff like that. But this year, everybody was below 60 points. So we are probably going to make a coaching change this offseason to try and get that offensive level back to where it was. Because, for example, Parrott, he had 29 goals and 29 assists, 58 points. So he started improving. But then you look at guys like Zykov and Bickle and whatnot who've been here for a few years. They both dropped off considerably in points, 80 points down to 53. And that's a pretty big drop off, especially when we're starting to pay him this amount of money. So, yeah, hopefully this team could be a little bit better offensively next season and win the same amount of games or more, because then we're definitely at least trending in the right direction fully. But anyways, before we get into the draft and off-season, we do have a number of comments to go over. So the first one is from Yo-Yo What's Up 101. He says, this might be a stretch, but I would go with Keith, and for 3 reasons. Number 1, he is 5'11" and is a two-way forward, and we really don't see that too often. Number 2, he is more of a balanced player than McCarty. And number 3, and most importantly, he is 17 years old and could be the same overall as McCarty. With that said, I would go with Keith for those 3 reasons. Also, go get some coaches for these young players, which I agree with. So, basically, we had a very tough decision, and we still have a tough decision on who we want to draft at number 3 between Declan McCarty and Derek Keith. But he's saying to go with Derek Keith because he's better rounded. He's 17 years old. He's 5'11", and he's a two-way forward, and we don't see that very often. So, that was his suggestion, as we go with Derek Keith over Declan McCarty, even though both of them are gems. Next comment is from Saturn Otaku. He says, don't forget to fix your coaching staff and scouts, which hopefully I don't forget about that. I know you guys are reminding me, which is good, but who knows, maybe I'll forget still to do that in this episode, because I have forgotten to do that at time to time. Next comment is from Alien Pete. He says, tricky to pick who to select third. I'm torn. I would go with the two-way forward center. He would be a good defensive player, could run a team with 3 elite centers on separate lines, but then again, I like that power forward left winger. My third choice would be the center sniper. Don't know their names, but it's a hard choice. My list on to select: first would be the two-way forward center, so he's saying Mr. Derek Keith as well. And second, he would say to go with Caden Gogol, who's not a gem, but he is a great goal scorer. A higher overall than these two probably, but he doesn't have that gem status. And then he's saying 3 to go with Declan McCarty. So hopefully we could get Keith in that sense, because 2 of you guys so far say Keith. Next comment is from Bruins Boy 63. He says Gogol would fit as a second line left wing, or even first if you want to switch up the first line. So he's saying to go with Caden Gogol, which is interesting because that's the first person to say him as their number 1 choice. Obviously, Alien Pete said that as the second choice, but there is some votes for Gogol, which is interesting. The next comment is from Hockey Guy 88. He says, I would go with McCarty since he looks better than Keith. Also, I would definitely get a new coach considering how much your stars struggled this season, which I agree with on that stage. And he's saying to go with Declan McCarty, so he's saying to go with him because he looks like he's going to be a good sniper and he looks better than Keith. But really, we don't know who is better because they honestly could be the same overall. It's just really hard to tell because of the gradings and stuff like that. Like, McCarty has 1 B stat. Gogol has pretty much all A stats, but some of them are A-, so it's going to be very interesting to see which one is actually the better overall. The next comment is from Ben for the win. He says, I think you should go with McCarty. He's a really good shooter and looks like he could put up a lot of points. He has A+ shooting and A- defense, so he's saying also to go with McCarty. So there's 2 votes for McCarty, and I believe 2 for Keith so far. I think it was 2 for Keith. So that's interesting. So 2 votes for McCarty, 2 votes for Keith, and 1 for Gogol, which means it's going to be a tough decision. I might have to make my own decision, or we might have to spin a wheel or something like that, or I'll spin a wheel off video. I probably wouldn't show any clip of it, but still, I probably will spin a wheel between the 2 of them since it seems like a draw. And the final comment is from Rahul B. He says, I would suggest in this offseason to acquire a head coach that at least has an A overall because coaches really influence the simulation engine. A reason that majority of the top forwards had only 50 plus points could be due to the reason you only have a coach that's overall C. I feel like having a solid coaches will help the team take this next step of hopefully getting 30 plus wins next season. Keep up the great vids. I appreciate that, Rahul, and I agree. I agree with that because I think if we do upgrade the coaching staff, this team could have probably had more wins than they did this season. So like if we're able to pick up that amount of wins with a C coach, if the offense gets better with an A coach, then we could probably take it from literally like being like a team with only 20 something wins to more than 30 wins, maybe even more than that. So should be really interesting to see what our team is going to be like going into next season with the new coach and how they simulate. So anyways, in terms of the draft, we do not have a clear on decision on who we want to go with because two of you guys said McCarty, two of you guys said Keith, one said Gogol. So I might have to choose when I get to that point. So let's get to the draft anyways, and we'll make our decision on draft day, but it's going to be a tough choice because I honestly see arguments for both cases. Like, let's actually take a look at our centers right now. Who do we have for centers again? Just because maybe this will help influence our choices. So we have Parrott, who is more of a winger. We're using him as. He's a power forward. We have Zykov, who is a two-way forward. We have Brophy, Grattan. Who do we have in the system? Claxon, who is a playmaker. So technically we have a guy that could be physical, we have a guy that could play defensively, and then we also have a guy that could play make potentially down the road. We don't really have that center, that guy that could be like a sniper other than Parrott. He can shoot the puck obviously, but he's also a power forward, so he's also more physical. We don't have that clear shooter as a center. And we could probably end up using like somebody like McCarty as a winger, but the question is, like, I don't know if really it works having McCarty though. Yeah, I honestly don't know which one I'm going to go with. I honestly could just sim the pick and let the computer choose for me, but I feel like they would choose like somebody like off the board, and I don't want that to happen. So, let me open up a wheel spinner. I don't think I'll show you guys a clip of this wheel spin just because I don't want to. I have to do this in real time, but I am going to open up a wheel spinner and put in some people's names. McCarty and Keith, not Gogol, because Gogol doesn't matter that much, even though Gogol is going to be a good player. So we're going to have it between McCarty and Keith, and I'm going to spin this wheel and see who we're going to be drafting with our first pick. I think it would be interesting to do a draft glory at some stage, all based on wheel spins, but let's see who we end up going with. Either is it McCarty or is it Keith? I'm going to spin the wheel, and the one that gets selected is going to be the pick. Hopefully this wheel spinner chooses me the right player. It is spinning right now, and it's going to select Derek Keith. So we're going with the two-way forward, and so there you go. There it is, our decision. Thank you to the wheel spinner for doing that, because I would not be able to choose between the two of them, and obviously you guys weren't able to as well. So it's just such a tough decision to make, because I never know who's going to become the better of the two. Like, I feel like McCarty definitely is going to become the better goal scorer, but maybe Keith can win more face-offs, be more of a better like defensive player for us, and help us lock down those like championship games. And then we'll have two center two-way forwards, and both of them could be on the penalty kill, which would be pretty dope for like 5-on-3 PK. So anyways, let's see who Vegas takes at number 1 overall. They're going to take Mangone, 81 overall power forward, just in case you guys wanted to see this. I know you guys also wanted to see what the players were like that I've missed out on the draft, so I will try. Well, actually, I will show you guys the top 5. I don't know if I'll show you guys the rest of this first round, but at number 2, the Calgary Flames are going to select Ernie, who's also an 81 overall two-way forward. So the top 2 players in the draft are the same overall, which is interesting. The question is, are we going to get the best player in the draft with this gem? Probably not, based on the ratings and stuff like that. I feel like probably Gogol's going to be the highest overall of the draft, and he's going to go like to the Philadelphia Flyers, it looks like, unless the Rangers take him. But let's take that two-way forward. Sorry, McCarty, even though you're technically supposed to go third, it is Derek Keith's time to join the team. should be interesting to see what he's like. And apparently he's similar style to Nick Backstrom as well, so he might have some good passing, but he's got yoink, so that's going to be nice. No contest, elite edges, and he's also got quick draw, so he could win some faceoffs at key times and take away the puck at key times too. So Derek Keith, welcome aboard to Anchorage. He's a 78 overall two-way forward, so not the highest overall out of the gate, which is I was expecting, but still a very solid player, and he will probably play second or third line next season, because I want to get Claxton a lot of growth, but I mean, like, Derek Keith could slot anywhere in our lineup pretty much between 1 and 4, and he'll probably get a good amount of growth because of that. So there is our pick. Let's take a look at what McCarty is like. McCarty is McCarty does not go to the Rangers, or doesn't go to the Rangers, so McCarty falls all the way to number 5. So we should have technically taken Gogol if we were going off based overall, but we got a gem, so I'm okay with that. This is what Gogol looks like. He's going to be a very good power forward with the amount of hitting and stuff like that. Yeah, this guy's going to be a good power forward, but we already kind of have one of those. So, but still, that's a good pick there for the Rangers, which means McCarty is going to join the Flyers, which is kind of funny because Darren McCarty obviously scored that crazy goal against the Flyers in the 97 Cup Finals. And there you go, 80 overall sniper, so he is a little bit better than Keith overall-wise, but he is a little bit older as well. So that's where the argument comes in on who's better. Because Keith being 17, is he going to be higher than an 80 overall by the time he's 18? I guess we'll find that out, but still very interesting to see who becomes the better of those two. And a pretty interesting top 5. Everybody right around the same overall. We got the worst overall out of the top 5, but I think he might end up being one of the best of them because he might end up winning a bunch of Selkies at some point. Who knows? Let's get to our next pick and get the rest of these picks done because we got the entire offseason still to do and bringing in new coaches, and that's going to take a while. So, what do we got? This episode might be a little bit long just in case. So, Orlando Caffrey might have shutdown, which is kind of an interesting one for a forward to have. Was there anybody I pinned at this stage? Oh, there's a guaranteed minimum top 6 sniper. Good shooter, but not great at everything else. Yeah, honestly, he might be the best pick, to be honest. Let's see, anybody else that are pinned around the stage? Oh, yeah, there is McCutcheon, who's maybe a medium elite goalie. I don't know if I should go with McCutcheon. No, I don't feel like he's medium elite. Curtin Duncan's medium elite for sure, but he's not supposed to go to a later round, so... Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Walzer here. Because, I mean, we get another potential player that could end up scoring some goals on our top 6. Yeah, I think that's probably what we're going to end up going with, to be honest, is Walzer here. So, Felix Walzer from Germany, welcome aboard. Let's see how good you are. 62 overall top 6 sniper, not too bad. No X factors, but could end up becoming something decent for us in our top 6 if he's playing alongside a good playmaker. Like, he might be the perfect player to play alongside Claxton on like a 3rd or 4th line, and then see if the two of them get some chemistry and some growth because of that. Because a playmaker and sniper would work nice. There's a gem here in the 3rd round in Valery Grachev. 3 years out. I might have to take him just because he's a gem. And the rest of these guys are like low top 6s and stuff like that. Yeah, I think I got to go with Grachev just because of that gem status. So, welcome aboard, Valery Grachev. Let's see how good you are. He's a 61 overall, low top 6 playmaker. He does got X factors as well, which is kind of interesting for a low top 6, including all alone, sended, and tape to tape. So, might be a really good passer for us for like a bottom 6 option. Maybe even higher than that at some point if he grows a lot faster. But yeah, so far, not too bad of a draft for us. We could go with a low top 9 power forward, but I feel like we're drafting a lot of forwards. We should probably go with a defenseman. Licht is an offensive defenseman, so he might be able to pick up a lot of points, even though he doesn't really have the high potential. Zadorov looks actually pretty good, too, maybe. Could be wrong with that, though. Do I go with Licht, or do I go with Zadorov? I think I'm going to go with Licht here, because these aren't scouted that well. But Licht is a guaranteed low top 6D. He's got offensive potential. He's going to be an offensive defenseman, so he could end up being somebody that could run a power play in the AHL and help guys grow. So Christoph Licht, welcome aboard, another German. He's a 57 overall, so not the highest overall, but like I said, he could end up being something at some stage. Probably more for the AHL than the NHL, but you never know. Our next pick here, Cadman Eves. Actually, the goalie's around this stage, right? The 20-year-old goalie. Yeah, we're going to just take this medium elite goalie since he's a medium elite, but he's 20 years old already, so if he's only like a 50-something overall and 20 years old, probably not going to pan out, but you never really know. Could be like a good AHL starting goaltender. So Kurt Duncan, welcome him aboard. He's a 57 overall at 20, so a little bit low of an overall, but hopefully he develops well. He's got good athleticism already, but his puck control is his weak point. And then also his reflexes aren't that great yet, but hopefully he gets some development. Should be interesting to see if he becomes one of our starting goalies down the road. Because you never know, some of these third string goalies could end up becoming the starter at some point. There's another German in pricing, but I feel like I've gone with a lot of forwards still. Bob Bell, it's a cool name, and he looks like he's actually kind of decent. He's got good shooting. Weakness and character, though, it's just eh. What about Curtis Cox? Might be a decent goaltender. Might be a medium starter at 19. But might not be. Might be a fringe. You know what? We're going to take another goalie. I know it seems weird, but we're taking multiple goalies. There's a fringe starter in Cox, so that way we have multiple goalies at least that we could use potentially for the AHL, and maybe some of them will pan out, maybe some of them won't. We'll see how they grow in the next few years. And our last pick of this year's draft, let's see if we could find ourselves a steal here. Shannon Eichel might be the pick. He's an offensive defenseman, might be low lead, probably not. Now there's Iginla still. He's supposed to go undrafted. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a chance with this low lead guy, maybe. Yes, he's an offensive defenseman. If he's low lead, that would be pretty dope. So Shannon Eichel, welcome aboard. And he's a 51 overall low elite. Let's go. I am surprised he actually was a low elite. 51 overall, though, in an offensive defenseman. If he develops into being a good offensive defenseman, which is going to probably take a lot of work, that could be a really good snag there. But who knows? Maybe he'll just become a good AHL offensive defenseman. But that still could help with Calder Cups and all that type of thing. So there is our draft. We got Derek Heath, we got Walzer, we got Grachev, Licht, Duncan, Cox, and Eichel. So a couple defensemen, I believe, or maybe only one defenseman. Bunch of forwards. Actually, no, 2 defenders, 3 forwards, and 2 goaltenders in this draft. So there is our draft. And I believe you guys said, though, when we had to bring in coaches, it was the first day of free agency. Let me just double check comments from the prior episode. Because I think you get, yeah, July 1st hired coaches and scouts. Okay, so we got to do that on July the 1st. So we will get to this re-sign stage first. Our head coach's contract is actually up for renewal, which is interesting. I am not going to re-sign him. And we are going to maybe re-sign our scouts. Are we going to re-sign our scouts? It was, which scouts was it? No, actually, we're not. We're going to fire all our scouts at once we get to July 1st, though, and get this re-situated. But let's get to the re-sign part and re-sign our big players. We got a lot of cap space, but we got some big guys to re-sign. Bickle, what do you want for 8 years? That's not terrible, maybe at 85%. We're going to do the 85% trick every time with these guys, but I feel like I am still overpaying on some of these players. But you never know, because they could just have a breakout season and then be really good for the rest of their careers. So he wants 11.8. We're going to times that by 0.85, not by 85, goddamn calculator. 0.85. I feel like we might be able to get him under $10 million, which I mean is pretty good, I'd say. He's been one of our more consistent goal scorers, so we'll try and get him for 9.775. And then hopefully we could also lock up, what's his name? That second liner. Oh, Festerini, because he's also up for renewal. So we'll try that with Bickle. Festerini, can I lock you up for 8 years? I might be able to lock you up on a steal of a contract, and I'm going to try and lock a lot of players up for 8 years. I know it seems kind of ridiculous to do that, but he wants 5.4. We'll times 8 by 8.5. We could get him maybe for just like 4.6, which I think that's a good deal for like an 82 guy, because if he stays even as an 82 and as a third liner, 4.6 might not be the worst cap hit. So we are going to qualify probably everybody else, though, just because of the fact a lot of these guys are going to be asking for too much. They might end up getting more money than they are worth, but that's okay. We'll qualify all you, and we'll probably let go of a lot of the AHLers just to make room for guys that actually, yeah, I'm going to let go of guys like Beery for now. since he wasn't even drafted by us, because I want to get all our drafted players in if possible. So we'll go a couple of those guys that we signed in the beginning for the AHL, like NAF and whatnot. They might end up coming back at some stage, but I want to make sure our team has all our drafted players in first. Tuamola I didn't draft as well, same with Dobmeyer. We'll continue qualifying all the picks I did. Ash Bash as well. You're gone, there you go. Those guys are all qualified. Goalie wise, Klessel is going to get qualified. Neil, if I go to 8 years, he only wants 1.725, but I don't know if he's going to pan out, so that's a bit We're going to qualify Neil. Let's go to UFAs. We got these guys that I believe were our cap whales, so we'll probably wait and see how close we are to the cap before signing them. But let's sign our unsigned players first. Let's get Keith the contract. Let's get everybody here a contract, I think. They all should be pretty much AHL eligible, so just want to make sure they get growth as fast as possible. Licht is not that high of an overall. I might wait a year for Eichel, to be honest, because he's not going to get a lot of playing time otherwise. Yeah, I think I'm going to wait on Licht and Eichel. And then goalie-wise, we have 3 goaltenders that are all 57 overall. I'm going to wait on them for now as well, just because we already have goalies in the system. So let's advance today, see if we get all those guys in. Looks like Bickle rejected the contract renewal. Yeah, Bickle and Festerini rejected what I offered them. God damn it, guys. Let's re-sign them again. Try and give them a little bit more than what the 85% trick was doing, because it was working for us with the other players. Let's try with Bickle. Let's try 9.85. I'm gonna see if I can still get him for under 10 million. Because this could be a massive overpayment on some of these players, but it's okay at this stage. So we'll try that. And then Festerini, we wanted to get you on an 8-year deal as well, which is kind of ridiculous to say, but we are gonna try that. I didn't want to try and set by 8, goddammit. So $5.4 million. Hopefully we could get him on a snag of a deal. Let's see if we could get him for like 4.65. Because that's a little bit more than what the 85% trick had. And let's see if those guys accept. They both are rejecting. So I guess they both don't want 8-year deals, which is kind of Where could I get him to? 6-year deal for Bickle, but then he wants 9 point. Maybe a 5-year deal for Bickle. I know he becomes a UFA at the end of that. 4 years, it's still an RFA. Let's do 4 years and he still should be an RFA according to this. Maybe not, but still, we're doing a 4-year deal for Bickle. Just because it seems like he does not want to sign here long term, which is unfortunate, at least at the moment, but maybe eventually he'll want to. So we'll get him for 6.6 for 4 years, which I think should be good. I hope he accepts that. Festerini, we'll get him to a 5-year deal, because why not? Actually, he'll become a UFA at the end of those years, but that's okay, I guess. Because he shouldn't ask for too much by the end of that. We'll times that by 0.85. Sorry if this episode is long, guys, but that's what happens. Let's do 3.9 for 5. See if they accept that now, or else I might have to qualify them, to be honest. Yeah, let's advance the day, see if we get those guys signed. No, they did not accept. God damn it, guys. We only have a few more days left of re-sign stage. They both don't want extensions, so we will just give them their term and the money that they're asking for and see if they accept that first, and if not, we'll have to qualify them, I think. Let's advance the day, see if they accept it, and they both do. Okay, so they both just wanted exactly what they were asking for and nothing more. But that sucks though, because now we have 50 million in cap space, which means these guys are going to have to be our cap whales again this season. So 1-year deal for you, Bush, and we'll give you the max salary, and then we'll give Eder a 1-year deal as well, and give him just under the max since we can't have 2 max contracts. And let's advance the day. Okay, all the RFAs are starting to accept as well, and now we're down to 9.615. Jeez, and all these RFAs are still holding out. but they should accept soon, which is good. So that is all good and ready to go. Let's get to July the 1st here. Actually, I didn't want to click resign stage, but let's get to the July 1st, and let's get ourselves that coach, and also some and get ourselves that coach, and then also and get ourselves a coach and some scouts, because why not? Okay, so scouts that we lost, that's okay, because we're gonna just fire all our scouts and get back some new ones. Okay, let's get to the coaching stuff first, because obviously we do not need to sign any players, I don't think. Actually, we might need to. Let's assign these guys to their ELCs right out of the gate as well. Even though I wasn't going to, I just need to have more roster players. Do we got enough goaltenders? Yeah, we got Neal and Pustonen in the system still. And in the NHL, we got Klessel and Carlson. Yeah, that's fine. So those guys can stay unsigned. But let's go to the coaching staff. Hire ourselves a head coach. See what we got. We got to get ourselves an A coach, which there's only 3 of them. So we got Dorian Clermont, who's only a 46% scheme fit right now. Does work really well with the Zykov defenseman, but nobody else really. We probably want the generalist, my guess is. This guy works 44% in the generalist. Only 29%. Yikes. Oh, not the best coaching pool. Any of these guys will become A+ coaches at some stage? I don't know. 46%, 42, 32. Clermont might be our guy, to be honest, then. Let's just check the teaching grades as well. The generalist has the best teaching grade, but an A- teaching grade is still pretty good, so let's bring in Clermont. Rangers are also interested in him, which sucks, so we might not be able to get him. So let's try and up the slot, since we don't have a budget, apparently, according to you guys. I should be able to get him for, just offer him like $4 million, and he should accept that, hopefully, unless the Rangers offer more. So let's see if he'll accept that. So that's the coach. Now let's go over to the scouts. Actually, let's go to our current scouts and fire them all. Sorry, guys. You guys did your job for the first few years, but we need new scouts. This is where this offseason is going to take a lot of time, just because of the fact we need to basically reorganize our entire management and scouting pool, and hopefully we get some good scouts in with our team, a good coach as well, and then hopefully the seasons to come are a lot better. I mean, they've been getting better each year, so it should be interesting to see what this team is like going into next season. So let's hire some coaches, or not coaches, scouts. Starting off here, let's go by each division, I guess, or not division, each thing. So there is an A- WHL scout, so we'll sign him up. Hopefully he accepts that. So actually, you guys said 2 scouts per league to maximize our things. So we could try it, getting 2 scouts per league. So there's 2 WHL. There's only a B- for OHL, but we'll take him. I don't want to sign a C OHL scout, so we'll leave that for now. Or actually, didn't you guys say like an E-rated E overall one would grow or something like that? I don't remember exactly what the thing was, but I'll just sign the best ones available if I can. Damn, there's not really any good QMJHL scouts. So I guess we'll have to go with Duchesne. Yeah, I guess we'll go with Duchesne here, because he's technically the best. And I'll also sign Francois, even though he's not great either. USA wise, we'll sign a bunch of these guys and assign each of them to each of the USA's East, West, and Central. So we'll sign 3 of them up, I guess, for now. And then we'll go over to Europe here. We need one for, I guess we need one for Germany. We would need one. We would need one for Czech Republic as well. for Finland, or not Finland, for what's that other country? For Switzerland. I think that's it for European scouts. And then Nordic-wise, we need one for Finland, which is our old scout, so we'll bring him back. We need one for Sweden. And I think that's almost it. So we'll just do a couple more of these guys as well. There we go. And we need 2 for Russia, so we'll get some for Russia in. And that should be good. So there's 17 offers on scouts. Let me actually get another OHL scout sent as well, so we at least get multiple. And I think we have multiple per league, except for, well, multiple for like the junior leagues in like Canada, but we don't have multiple for the USA stuff because of the ratings, but that's okay. I think that's good for scouts. We should be able to get most of those people in, unless for some reason other AI teams are looking for scouts, or for some reason it's going to say we don't have the budget. Okay, let's advance a few days, see if we get that coach in all those scouts. Hopefully we do, because or else this episode's going to be pretty tedious. Looks like we're getting some of those scouts already, which is good. There's 2 of them, 3 of them. I'm going to have to reassign them all at the start of the season as well, so we can see if they're all in the right leagues and all that stuff. And hopefully they do a good job scouting-wise. Like, if they're E in a certain region, like you guys said that they should grow within a few seasons, so hopefully that is the case. There's a couple more of them accepting. I don't think I've ever sent this much offers to scouts before, but hey, we're doing it for the first time, and hopefully our prospect pool grows because of it. I mean, it's already pretty decent, but just to make sure it's like the best of the best. Okay, let's see if this coach accepts, because he should get back to us today. And he does accept. Let's go. There is our new head coach. We picked up the best coach in the free agent coach pool, and we're grabbing ourselves a lot of scouts. Strachan's being offered a contract by New Jersey. We will match that offer. We're not losing a medium elite player. And let's continue to sim up to next season. All our RFAs should start to accept soon. There you go. Little has accepted. Voutilainen. Yeah, a lot of these guys are going to get overpaid because of this, but I mean, I wouldn't be able to talk them down in price, I don't think. Let's see. Let's go back to their RFAs. Do we still have a lot of cap space? No, we do not. Okay, good. RFAs, we just got Neil to deal with. Let's just give him what he wants, because he wants a 2-way deal now, which is perfect. And we'll advance a couple days again, or sim to next season. There's Neil's accepting. I'm excited to see what our team looks like with the new coach in terms of chemistry and all that. But like, I mean, I don't feel like the chemistry is going to be that great, but you never know. It could be that good. So let's get these lines set up. See who we got here. Let's call up all the players that should be up, or the best of the best, actually, because we want to have our best team in front of us. So let's go to in the system, Farrell and Kalinin. Do we need those guys? Let's actually look by each position first. So Neil is a 70, so we got a choice. I'm gonna leave this right now, but what do you guys think? Klesla down to the AHL, Neil up, or Neil in the AHL for another year, and Klesla as the backup behind Carlson? Because we'll have to decide with something like that. So there's goaltending. In terms of defense, Zikov's up to an 81, which is nice. Technically, wait, do we got 6 defenders? We got 2, 4, 6, 7. So technically, Kuznetsov would be sent down. Or maybe it would be Larson, since Larson's got the worst potential. Or we would send down Nikitin, but he's higher up overall. So I think I'm going to send down Larson for now, because we don't need depth defenders. And then we'd have Farrell, Kalinin, and Larson all down there in the AHL. Yeah, we have a lot of good defensemen down there. A lot of defenders. Maybe too much. So those would be our 6 defenders for the season. We got Jorgensen, Villette, and Barchi. Who do we got in the system? Di Nicola. Yeah, I guess Di Nicola and stuff like that is fine to be down there for now. Left wing wise, I would send down Wold. I think he scratched anyways, so that's good. So Cox, Hull, and Festerini, Bickle. Wow. Yeah, with Hull being up to a 75, it makes our left wingers look much better. Centers, Parrott, Zikov, Keith, Garatin, and Brophy. I am going to send down Brophy, I think. Brophy's 23, Garatin's 22, so yeah, I'm going to send down Brophy. And we're going to call up Claxton because he's got good potential, and I won't want to waste that in the AHL just yet. I mean, maybe 1 year in the AHL would be okay, but let's just go best lines for a second here. And let's reorganize this a little bit. So, top line of... what do we want to do here? Hull is a left winger, so we'll go with that. Okay, that's actually looking kind of good so far. Not bad. Take Barchi out of the lineup. Actually, Barchi needs to get sent down since he's not a drafted player. Who is not in the lineup? Nobody. Okay, so we got to call up a left winger and send Barchi down. So Barchi is going to get sent down to the minors. And we will call up... I guess we'll call up DiNicola maybe? Because he's the best overall player. Or we go with Sloan. Yeah, let's go with Sloan since he's got the cap hit. And we'll send down Barchi because he's not one of our picks. But our team is mostly all in the 70 overall range, which is pretty good. Once again, I apologize how long this episode is because I feel like it's probably pretty long, but I don't know. Okay, that's good. That's our forward core. Like our center depth, we could actually put Keith as the second line center, but I mean, I might want to play him as the third liner just because of chemistry reasons. But that's what our team looks like offensively. Defensively, it looks like Zhukov and Moroza, Kronwall, Strachan, Nikitin, Kuznetsov. Not bad. Goalie-wise, Carlson, Klesla. What does our power play lines look like? Pretty good. Yeah, pretty good. Second line, power play is going to have Keith and Festerini on it. Hull is going to get power play time as well, which is nice. Penalty kill, we'll have Zhukov as the first one with Keith. I don't know if I want them both on the same unit. Yeah, I think I'm going to put Keith on the second unit. And then we'll put Parrott on the top unit with Zhukov, maybe. Yeah, we'll do something like that. There we go. Yeah, it's much better. So that way we have both of our two-way forward centers playing on different penalty kills. And then this one, I don't really know if it matters too much. But yeah, our team is going to be exciting this season. And then AHL-wise, let's just make sure everybody that has potential is in the lineup. Eichel should be playing because of his potential. Korosin doesn't have much potential. And Licht, I wouldn't mind playing him, but I don't know if I could slot him in anywhere. I actually could probably put him in instead of Voutilainen. So I'll do that because Voutilainen's only got 70 potential. Pusher's got low top 4 potential, so let's move him up a little bit in the lineup since Lil's only got top 6 potential. Yeah, I think Lil's got to get taken maybe out of the lineup here for Eichel. Yeah, we'll go with something like that. So then we have basically our top 6, a low elite to top 4, a low top 6, and a low elite. It's not bad. And then Neil and Pustonen as the goaltenders. Not bad. Yeah, our prospect pool is coming along, I think. So there is that. Final thing we got to do before we end this episode off, because I know this has been a long episode, is I've got to show you guys the draft class just to see who is the projected #1 pick. It is a left winger, and then there's a defenseman in the top 3. So that would be something we could use, especially if we're one of the worst teams in the league again. It'd be nice to get ourselves a defenseman. But most of the players in the top 6 or top 5 look like forwards. A lot of centers as well. There is some defenders outside of the top 5. So it'll be interesting to see where we finish at the end of the season. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of Anchorage Ice Tigers Draft to Glory franchise mode. So next episode, we will simulate the entire season, and we'll see what this team could do in terms of wins and all that type of thing with the new coach and all that stuff. So let me know what you guys think down below, and I'll see you guys next time.